Chapter 30. So today was the day. Today was the day Siv would finally have her audition for just another talent show. Very exciting. She had not been able to sleep all night, so she was really tired. And nervous. Really nervous. Actually, there was not any reason to be nervous, since she was going to win the whole thing anyway, but still, with the cameras and all the people, she was sitting in the big waiting hall with all the other contestants. She almost felt bad for them. They would literally sit here and wait for hours to get their chance, unaware of that the race was fixed. It felt like she should tell them. I mean, of course, not out loud, but discreetly.
Hey, stop wasting your and my time. This whole contest is rigged, so it is better if you just go home, so that I can do my act a little quicker and get some sleep.
She would not do it so that she could get some sleep. That was just a nice side effect. But perhaps it was a bad idea to tell people that the contest was rigged. It was supposed to be a secret, after all. But what she could do, however, was tell everyone who had a really bad act that it was better they went home because they did not stand a chance to win anyway. Like the little girl right next to her who played the flute. She was supposedly to go up on stage just before Siv. How could her dad let her go up on stage and completely embarrass herself? She had no idea how to play the flute. The judges would rip this little girl apart, but the worst part was that her dad kept encouraging her. "That is great, keep practicing, I'm sure the judges are going to love it." Well, only if they love crap, Siv thought to herself. Someone had to tell her. And Siv didn't mind bringing her the bad news, if it meant that it saved the little girl from embarrassing herself. So she waited until her father was talking with some of the other parents, and the girl was tooting on her flute.
You really like to play the flute, don't you?
Toot toot.
Too bad you suck at it. No, really, it's a shame. If you at least were good at playing, it would have been great, because you obviously love playing it, but you suck at it, and see...
She put one leg over the other.
I don't think you will get much better with time. Of course, a bit better, but not to the level that you can win just another talent show. You've got to be a natural, and you can notice things like that almost instantly.
The little girl looked at her and went, "Toot?"
You know what will happen when you walk up on the stage? You're going to toot on your little flute, and the judges are going to hit their buzzers, and you're going to cry like a little girl and embarrass yourself, and then you're going to wish you had not done it. No, I won't, she said. I won't cry like a little girl. Yes, you will. No, I won't.
Toot toot.
Well, it doesn't matter. Your act sucks anyway. I don't mean that in a bad way. It is just the truth.
Toot toot toot.
Well, your face is ugly. I don't mean that in a bad way. It is just the truth. That's not true. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Hey, you are only allowed to say hurtful things if they are true. Otherwise, they are just hurtful. But it is true. You're ugly.
Toot toot. Her father came back and sat down. "Very good, Sarah," he said. "The judges are going to love that." Siv got up, dizzy from fatigue. She needed some second opinion about this. She walked down the aisle and suddenly grabbed hold of a guy with widespread eyes.
Tell me the truth. Am I ugly? Tell me the truth. I want you to be honest, because you're not helping me by lying to make me happy. So tell me the truth. Am I ugly?
"Yes," the guy said, looking pretty scared.
Damn it.
She push-released him, walked a few steps, and grabbed hold of another guy.
Tell me the truth. Am I ugly? Tell me the truth. I want you to be honest, because you ain't helping me by lying to make me happy. So tell me the truth. Am I ugly?
"No," the guy lied. And then Siv let him go as well.
That's what I thought,
she thought brazenly to herself.
I knew that little bitch was just trying to be mean. I mean, if it had been true, totally fine if she said that.
Siv was no hypocrite, but she condemned you saying something just to hurt people. Well, enough about that. She'd continue with this thing, telling people that their act sucked and didn't stand a chance to win. Like, for instance, that guy over there, who was sitting a little bit by himself. Siv walked up to him.
Hey, what kind of act are you gonna do?
And the guy got all nervous because this random girl came up to talk with him. Sure, she was not that attractive, but it almost never happened that a random girl came up to him like that. He thought she was interested in him. Why else would she randomly walk up to him like that?
I'm gonna do a comedy act,
the guy said, a bit nervously, and tried not to look at her boobs.
Comedy acts. Sounds interesting. Can you tell me your best joke? Impress me.
Well, it's a whole act, but it's pretty short, so I guess I can do the whole act.
Sure.
Okay, so my imaginary girlfriend and I were having a fight last night.
Wait, I just have to stop you right there.
She said.
You've an imaginary girlfriend?
Yeah, well, I've never really had any real girlfriend.
The guy said, a little shy. Wow, what a loser.
Okay, so go on then, tell the joke.
My imaginary girlfriend and I were having a fight last night, and she complained that I was out drinking too much with my imaginary friends, so I told her, "Don't you worry, love. It is just imaginary alcohol."
I'm sorry, I just have to interrupt you. That is terrible. It is like the creepiest joke I've ever heard. It's not funny. Your whole act sucks. You have no chance to win. So it is better if you just go home and don't waste your and everybody else's time.
And then she just walked away, because that was always the best way to deliver insults and apologies. Just to leave before the other person had a chance to say anything.
Hey!
Siv stopped.
Do you want to go on a date sometime?
She turned around.
I thought you had an imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to know, and I could always break up with her.
Even if she's not real, you should not treat a girl's heart like that.
It continued like that. This endless row of people who had absolutely no self-awareness whatsoever. Then, of course, there was one or two exceptions that were amazing, like this guy from rural Kent. He was one of those guys who you just hated because not only could he sing really well, he was also super handsome. Well, you couldn't really hate him because he was so damn modest about it. Oh, really? You like my singing? Thank you. Thank you so much. No, I normally just sing for my cows. And then his face got all red. There was one thing that you could complain about, that pulled down the prince factor. Then it was that, although he'd showered, there was still a faint smell of manure that probably never went away. All girls had gathered around him while he was singing. Even Siv got some tears in her eyes. It was a good thing that she had bribed the judges, because this guy was going to go far. Maybe all the way to the stars. Siv could imagine they would meet in the final. He would melt all hearts with his cow song, and she would stand up there on the stage and mumble in front of her experiment. For everybody except Siv and a few others, this would be a nail-biter. Would the handsome man with the sexy voice and the faint manure smell, or the quirky girl with a science experiment win? He would probably think, oh, this is going great. I actually have a chance to win. Little did he know that Siv would have been a perfect dictator. Because when she had discussed this with the guy at Airbrush Media, she hadn't said, yes, sometimes I want one of the judges to say no, this won't do, this is not good enough, to make it seem more realistic. She wanted all judges to say yes and to praise her act first in the auditions because she could not deal with any criticism. Then the same thing in the semifinal. And then in the final, she did not want to win with like 51 or 52% of the viewer votes. She wanted 98, 99%. And if anyone dared to criticize her because it in any way seemed unrealistic, she would kill them. And say, what are you talking about? This is the will of the people. They all got to vote and they chose me because they thought that I had the best act. So she dried her eyes and applauded a little more. And then she had to elbow her way through the other girls that had gathered around him like flies on manure.
Get out of the way. I'm going to talk with him first.
The whole world felt blurred. She hated that kind of fangirl that went all crazy because some guy was handsome and could sing, like they didn't have any self-respect. Like they did not know guys hated when the group of girls came up to them and were all like, "You're so cool. Can I have your phone number?" Nowadays, men appreciated women who were icy, like Siv. This did not mean that she had changed her personality to satisfy boys. It was just that boys happened to like her personality. This was, of course, when you had to be the iciest, because the moment you started to melt and became accessible to the boys, and started to scream, "Hug me, please love me," boys became disgusted. That was when you had to be the iciest, because the more icy you were, the more boys loved you. However, it struck her now that the best way to scare off boys would be to be clingy. People might think that she actually enjoyed that boys were asking her out all the time. She couldn't have been more wrong, but people might think it, that she was one of those that desperately longed for closeness, so she made herself completely inaccessible, cold, and rejected all attempts to approach her. On the other hand, she realized that she was stuck in the middle. The alternative was to continue like now or become.
Oh my god, you're so cool. I want to have all your babies.
Either way, people would think that she desperately wanted boys to like her. And then Siv realized she had been standing in front of the guy the whole time. He was looking at her like he expected her to say something. Yes? And she was going to say something, but then she noticed the girl with the flute on the monitor behind him, so she pushed him aside so she could see. The girl was up on stage right now, and nervously held the bone-white flute with both her hands. "And how old are you?" Matthew Brooks said.
6.
And then the whole audience went, "Aww." Siv had to hurry because she was going up on stage after the little bitch. She ran back to her seat, collected everything for her experiment, and then tackled her way backstage. She flashed her bib number like it was the key card for an army base. 30 seconds later, she was backstage. The guys working there were not too happy that she was late, but she just told them to shut it. Her heart was pounding, but as soon as she had a moment to calm down, she heard this melody that she remembered from somewhere. She looked up on the monitor that they had backstage and got absolutely terrified when she realized that the girl was playing Itsy Bitsy Spider.